August 2nd, 1942, 1400 hours, Saint-Nazaire Harbor, France. My name is Klaus Hartmann, Oberleutnant zur See, watch officer aboard U-552. I'm 26 years old, and I'm writing this sitting on my bunk while the final supplies are loaded above me. This is my fourth patrol, fourth time leaving this harbor, heading into the Atlantic, fourth time thinking it might be the last. The other officers say you get used to it. The fear, the way your stomach knots up when you see the bunker entrance closing behind you, knowing you won't see sunlight again for weeks, maybe months, maybe never. They're lying. Or maybe they've just forgotten what it feels like to be afraid. I can hear boots on the deck plates above me, the chief engineer Oberleutnant Schneider, shouting at someone about the port diesel. It's leaking oil again. Always something wrong with this boat. We patch and repair and pray it holds together long enough to get us home. Home. Bremen. Margaret. Her letter arrived this morning, July 20th, it's dated. She must have written it the day after my last leave ended. The paper still smells like her perfume, lavender. I've read it 6 times already, and I keep the envelope here, wrapped in oilcloth in my chest pocket, right against my heart, where the water can't reach it. She writes about wedding plans. Spring of 1943, she says. Her mother thinks St. Patrick Cathedral would be beautiful. White flowers. Her sister as maid of honor. She asked me what I think about honeymoon destinations, the Black Forest maybe, somewhere peaceful. Spring of 1943, 7 months from now. It feels like a lifetime. It feels like a dream someone else is having. I should tell you about this boat, about U-552. She's a Type 7C, 67 meters long, 6 meters wide at the beam. Home to 44 men who live packed together like sardines in a metal tube under the ocean. 4 torpedo tubes in the bow, 1 in the stern. 14 torpedoes total. An 88mm deck gun we almost never get to use anymore because the British aircraft come too fast now. Our commander is Kapitän Leutnant Erich Topp. The crew calls him Der Alte, the old man, even though he's only 29. 3 years older than me. He's one of the best, they say. 10 successful patrols. 35 ships sunk. The Knight's Cross with oak leaves. When he walks through the boat, men straighten up. When he gives orders, nobody questions. I respect him. Fear him a little, maybe. He has these pale blue eyes that see everything. He knew I was nervous before my first patrol, even though I tried to hide it. Pulled me aside and said, Hartmann, fear keeps you sharp. It's the men who aren't afraid, who make mistakes and get us all killed. I've served under him for 3 patrols now. October through November last year in the Mediterranean. January through February in the Atlantic. April through May of the American coast during what the men called the happy time. Ships everywhere, barely any escorts. Like target practice, we sank 14 merchant ships on those patrols. 14, I keep count, I don't know why. Maybe because I need to remember, maybe because I'm afraid of forgetting. Each one had a crew. Men like us, sailors who signed up or were drafted, who had families waiting for them, who wrote letters home that never got sent because the ships went down too fast and the ocean doesn't give up its dead. I try not to think about that. It's war. They would kill us just as quickly. It's us or them, and I choose us every time. I have to. But late at night, when I'm alone in my bunk and the boat is running silent and dark, I see their faces. I imagine them. Young men, old men, boys maybe, screaming as the water rushes in, as the cold Atlantic closes over their heads. I need to stop thinking about this. The mission briefing was this morning. We're heading into the North Atlantic, grid squares B, D, and BE, south of Greenland. The convoy routes from Halifax and New York to Liverpool. Admiral Dönitz himself dictated the orders transmitted from U-boat command in Paris. Find the convoys, signal the wolf pack, attack at night, sink as many as we can before the escorts drive us under. It sounds simple when you say it like that. Schneider just stuck his head in. Hartmann, the Calais wants all officers in the control room in 10 minutes. Final checks. 10 minutes. Then we cast off. Then we're gone. I'm trying to memorize Margaret's face. The way she smiled at the train station when I left. The way her hair catches the light. The sound of her laugh. I'm terrified I'll forget that the ocean and the darkness and the fear will wash it all away, and I'll come back empty. If I come back, no. When I come back, I have to believe that. When I come back, I'm going to marry her. I'm going to take her to the Black Forest. We're going to have a life together. Children, a house with a garden. Sunday dinners with my parents. Normal things, peaceful things. The boat is creaking. The tide is rising. We'll leave on the high tide, just after sunset, slip out of the harbor while the light fades. Standard procedure. My father was a merchant marine officer. He survived the First War, sailed the Baltic and the North Sea for 30 years. Before retiring, when I told him I'd volunteered for the U-boat service, he didn't say anything for a long time, just looked at me with these sad, tired eyes. Finally, he said, "The ocean doesn't care about flags or politics or which side you're on. It will kill you just as dead. Either way. Remember that." I remember it every day. I can hear music from somewhere above. Someone has a gramophone playing. Zara Leander, I think. One of those sentimental songs about waiting for someone to come home. The men love that sort of thing. It reminds them there's a world outside this metal coffin we're about to seal ourselves into for the next month or two. My sister Anna wrote to me too. She's 19 now, training to be a nurse in Hamburg. Her letter was shorter than Margaret's, more careful. She talks about treating wounded soldiers coming back from the Eastern Front, frostbite cases mostly, boys younger than me with blackened fingers and toes. She doesn't say much else, but I can read between the lines. She's scared. The war isn't going the way the newsreels say it is. I think about writing back to her, but what would I say? "Dear Anna, don't worry, I'm safe." I'd be lying. Nobody on a U-boat is safe. We have the highest casualty rate of any service. 70%, I know the mathematics. 7 out of every 10 U-boat men who leave port don't come back. Those are terrible odds. But someone has to be in that 30% who survive. Why not me? The diesel engines just started. I can feel the vibration through the hull. The lords, we call them. Because they rule everything on this boat. When they run, we have power, we have air, we can charge the batteries, we can move. When they stop, we're dead in the water. Literally, I should go. The Kalu doesn't like to be kept waiting. One more thing. I'm bringing my mother's ring with me. The one my father gave her. When they got engaged, she pressed it into my hand the last time I was home. Said I should give it to Margaret when the time was right. Maybe this patrol. Maybe when we get back to Saint-Nazaire. Maybe I won't wait until spring. Maybe I'll marry her the minute I step off this boat. Maybe I'm just trying to give myself a reason to make sure I survive. August 4th, 1942, 0600 hours. Bay of Biscay, grid square BE 58. We've been at sea for 36 hours now. The French coast is somewhere behind us, lost in the darkness and the morning fog. We're running on the surface while we can, making good speed on the diesels. 17 knots. The boat vibrates with their power and the wind up on the bridge is cold enough to sting your face. I just came off the morning watch. 4 hours in the conning tower, scanning the horizon through the Ouzo binoculars until my eyes burned, looking for aircraft mostly. The British fly patrols out of Cornwall and Plymouth. Sunderland flying boats. Wellingtons, they have radar now, and they come fast, and if they catch you on the surface, you're dead. We practiced the alarm dive 3 times yesterday. The Calais is obsessed with speed. He times us with his stopwatch 30 seconds from the alarm, klaxon to full submersion. That's the standard. Anything slower, and he makes us practice again. Yesterday, our best time was 35 seconds. He wasn't happy. Gentlemen, he said, his voice very calm, very cold. 35 seconds is the difference between diving under the waves and having a British bomb come through the conning tower and kill us all. We will practice until we can do it in 25 seconds. Again. We did it again and again and again. My legs are still shaking from running up and down the ladder. But I understand why he pushes us. Speed is survival, hesitation is death. The ocean and the enemy don't give you second chances. The boat smells like diesel fuel and sweat and damp metal. It always does, but after a few days at sea, you stop noticing. Or maybe you just stop caring. The air is thick and warm in the control room, cold and sharp up on the bridge. Condensation drips from every pipe and valve. Everything is always wet. The crew is settling into the routine. 4-hour watches, 6 hours off. Sleep when you can, eat when you can, shit when you can. We have 1 toilet for 44 men. 1. You learn to time it carefully. The food is still good. Oberbootsmann Krüger, our cook, managed to load fresh bread and vegetables and even some meat. It won't last. Give it a week and the bread will be moldy, the vegetables will be gone, and will be down to canned herring and hardtack. But for now, we eat well. Krüger made scrambled eggs this morning, real eggs, with bacon. The smell filled the boat and made everyone smile. Small things matter out here. Hot food, dry socks, a letter from home, a joke that makes someone laugh. You hold on to these things because everything else is metal and water and darkness and fear. I'm getting to know the new men. We picked up 3 replacements before this patrol, fresh from U-boat school in Neustadt. Their uniforms are still new. Their eyes still bright. They don't have the look yet. That hollow, haunted thing that settles into your face after you've been depth charged a few times. After you've watched ships burn and men drown. One of them is Matros Werner Becker. He's 17 years old. 17, he looks about 15. Blonde hair, blue eyes, baby face. He reminds me of my sister. He vomited before we left port. Nerves, not seasickness. I found him behind the bunker, bent over, heaving his guts out. He was crying a little, trying to hide it. I should have left him alone, let him have his privacy. But I remembered my first patrol, how terrified I was, how I thought everyone could see it written on my face. Becker, I said. He straightened up fast, wiping his mouth, trying to look professional. Sir, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know what... Everyone vomits on their first patrol, I told him. Or cries, or both. It's normal. You're not weak, you're human. He looked at me with these desperate, grateful eyes. Does it get easier, sir? I should have lied. I should have said yes, you get used to it, it becomes routine. But I remembered what the other officers told me, and I remembered that they were lying. No, I said, it doesn't get easier. You just learn to function while you're afraid. He nodded. Didn't say anything else. But later, when we were boarding, he looked at me and gave this small, tight smile, like we understood each other now. I hope he survives. I hope I survive. I hope we all survive. But 70% don't. The sun is coming up now. I can see the light changing through the conning tower hatch. The Calais will order us to dive soon. We'll run submerged during the day, surface at night. Standard procedure in the Bay of Biscay. Too dangerous to stay on the surface with the British air patrols. Last patrol in May, We saw a Sunderland catch U-462 on the surface. We were 10 kilometers away, too far to help. We watched through the periscope. The flying boat came out of the sun. The U-boat never had a chance. We saw the bombs falling, saw the explosions, saw the boat break apart, 47 men, gone in seconds. The Khalil watched through the scope for a long time, then he stepped back and said very quietly, "That could have been us." It could have been. It still could be. Every day, every watch, every moment we're at sea. I need to stop thinking like this. I played chess with Schneider last night. He's the torpedo officer, responsible for maintaining the eels and calculating firing solutions. He's brilliant, graduated top of his class from the Naval Academy. He should have had a surface ship command, but he volunteered for U-boats because he wanted real action. Real action, that's what he called it. I let him win the chess game. It wasn't hard. He's better than me anyway. But I made sure he thought it was close, made sure he felt good about the victory. An officer's job isn't just technical competence, it's maintaining morale, keeping the crew functional and focused, making them believe we're going to make it home, even when you're not sure you believe it yourself. The Khalil just ordered the dive. I can hear the alarm klaxon. 2 sharp blasts. Ah, Oga, Alarm tauchen. The watch officer is shouting, feet pounding on the ladder, men scrambling below, hatches slamming shut, the roar of air venting from the ballast tanks. The deck is tilting, we're going under. I should close this and secure it. The last thing I need is for the pages to get wet. The oilcloth pouch keeps it safe, but not if I'm careless. Into the dark we go. August 8th, 1942, 2200 hours. Mid-Atlantic, Grid Square, BD 72. 4 days since my last entry. 4 days of absolutely nothing. We're in the hunting grounds now. The vast empty middle of the Atlantic where the convoys pass from America to England, where the wolf packs wait, where the war is supposed to be happening. But there's nothing here. Just water. Endless water. Grey sky above, grey sea below. The horizon curves away in every direction and you could sail for weeks and never see another ship. The monotony is almost worse than the fear. At least fear keeps you alert. Boredom just grinds you down. Hour after hour, day after day. 4 hours on watch, staring at nothing. 6 hours off, trying to sleep in a bunk that's too narrow and too damp. Wake up, eat something, go back on watch, stare at nothing again. The men are getting irritable. Small arguments breaking out over nothing. Someone's sleeping in someone else's bunk. Someone's using more than their share of drinking water. And someone's breathing too loudly. We're rationed to 1 liter of water per day. 1 liter. You don't bathe. You barely wash. You drink when you're thirsty. And try not to think about how filthy you are. After a week, everyone smells the same. Sweat and diesel and mildew. You stop noticing after a while the port diesel is still leaking oil. The chief engineer, Lieutenant Weiss, has his men working on it constantly, tightening seals, replacing gaskets, praying it doesn't get worse. If we lose a diesel, we lose speed. If we lose speed, we can't catch the convoys. And if we can't catch the convoys, we've wasted this entire patrol and accomplished nothing except sitting in the ocean for 6 weeks burning fuel. I spent the afternoon helping with the repair work, not because I had to, but because I needed something to do. Something to keep my hands busy and my mind occupied. The engineer was grateful for the help, even though I'm not much use. He's the expert. I'm just an extra pair of hands, holding tools and wiping up oil. The men appreciate it though. When an officer gets his hands dirty, when he shows he's not above the hard work, it matters, it builds trust, it reminds them we're all in this together, trapped in this tube of metal, dependent on each other. For survival, Krüger made Gulaschsuppe for dinner, Gulasch soup or what passes for it anyway. Canned beef, potatoes, onions, paprika. It tasted like diesel oil. Everything tastes like diesel oil after a few days at sea. The fuel leaks into everything. The food, the water, the air. You breathe it, you eat it, you taste it constantly. But we ate it anyway. Hot food is hot food. You don't complain. I've been thinking about Margaret constantly. About home, about normal life, about walking down a street without watching the sky for aircraft, about sleeping in a bed that doesn't rock and creak, about eating a meal that doesn't taste like fuel. I've been trying to write a letter to her, not that I can send it. We can't send letters from sea, but I thought maybe writing it anyway would help, would make her feel closer. I can't do it. I start writing, and all I can think about is what I can't tell her. I can't tell her about the fear, about the depth charges and the drowning and the burning ships. I can't tell her that I might die out here. I can't tell her that I'm starting to have nightmares, that I wake up gasping, convinced the boat is sinking, convinced I'm trapped and drowning in the darkness. I can't tell her any of that because what good would it do? It would only frighten her. It would only make her worry more than she already does. So I write stupid things. The weather is nice, the food is good, I miss you, I love you, I'll be home soon. Lies. Comfortable lies. The kind you tell people you love to protect them from the truth. I had a dream last night. I was in Bremen, walking with Margarete through the old market square. It was spring, sunny and warm, and the cathedral bells were ringing. She was wearing a white dress, her wedding dress. She was smiling at me. Then the bells turned into the alarm klaxon. Ah, ooh, ga. And she was gone, and I was in the boat, and we were diving, and the water was pouring in, and I couldn't breathe, and I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest. Schneider was in the bunk across from me. He was awake. He didn't say anything, but I saw him looking at me in the dim red light. He knew. He understood. Bad dream? He finally asked. Yeah, me too. We didn't talk about it. What is there to say? We're all having the same dreams. The drowning, the crushing, the darkness, the dying. I need to stop writing about this. I need to focus on something else. Chess, I can write about chess. Schneider and I played another game tonight. I let him win again, but this time I made it look harder. Made him work for it. He was pleased with himself. Morale maintained. The Kaleo came through during our game. Watched for a few minutes. Then he said, Schneider, you're getting predictable. Hartmann is letting you win. Schneider looked at me, shocked. Is that true? I couldn't lie. Not with Top standing right there. Sometimes. Not always. Schneider laughed. Actually laughed. You bastard. I thought I was getting better. You are getting better, I said. I just have to try harder to let you win. Even the Kaleo smiled at that. A rare thing. He doesn't smile much. Gentlemen, he said, if we spent as much effort outsmarting the British as we do outsmarting each other at chess, this war would already be won. Then he moved on, checking on the crew, inspecting the watch stations, being everywhere at once, the way he always is. Top is a good commander, hard but fair. He pushes us, but he never asks us to do anything he wouldn't do himself. And he knows his business. 10 patrols, 35 ships, still alive when so many others are dead. That's skill, that's experience. That's why we follow him. But he looks tired. More tired than I've ever seen him. There are lines around his eyes that weren't there last patrol. Grey in his hair that wasn't there before. He's only 29, but he looks 40. How long can someone do this? How many patrols before your luck runs out? Before you make a mistake and the ocean or the enemy catches you? 10 patrols, he's done 10 patrols. The average U-boat commander survives 2 or 3 before they're killed. or their boat is sunk. Top is an exception, an anomaly, skill and luck in equal measure. But luck runs out. Eventually, it always runs out. I'm being morbid again. I need to stop. The radio watch just picked up something. I can hear them talking in low voices in the radio room. Probably nothing. Could be another U-boat transmitting. Could be the British. Could be atmospheric interference. Radio traffic is dangerous. Every transmission can be detected. The British have direction finding equipment now. High frequency direction finding. HUF-DUF, the men call it. If you transmit, they can track you. If they track you, they send the destroyers. So we maintain radio silence unless absolutely necessary. We listen, but we don't transmit. We wait for orders from BDU, but we don't acknowledge. We're ghosts. Silent hunters in the deep. The moon is out tonight. I was up on the bridge during the evening watch. The ocean was calm, almost flat. The moonlight made a silver path across the water. It was beautiful. I thought about my father, about sailing with him on the Baltic when I was young. Before the war, before any of this, we would go out in his little boat on summer evenings. Just the two of us. He would let me take the tiller, teach me to read the wind and the waves, to feel the boat respond to the rudder. Those were good days, simple days when the ocean was just the ocean, not an enemy or a battlefield, when sailing was about the joy of it, not about hunting and killing and staying alive. I miss those days. I miss being young and innocent and unafraid. I miss not knowing what it feels like to watch men die. August 12, 1942, 1600 hours. Grid Square BD 65 contact. The radio room picked up a transmission this morning from BDU. Encrypted, high priority. The watch officer woke the Kaliu immediately. I was in the control room when Top came down to decode the message. He worked quickly, his face expressionless, turning the wheels on the Enigma machine. The encoded groups turning into plain German text. Then he stopped. Read it. Read it again. Gentlemen, he said quietly, we have convoy coordinates. The control room went silent. Then everyone started talking at once. A convoy. After 8 days of searching empty ocean, finally, B-Dienst intercepted Allied radio traffic. British Naval Cipher number 3. They broke the code, pulled out the convoy routing information. Convoy SC-97 departed Halifax 5 days ago. Estimated 50 to 60 merchant ships, multiple escorts, current position, approximately 400 kilometers northeast of our location. BDU is forming a wolf pack, 8 boats, patrol line across the projected convoy route. We're designated as the southern end of the line. Orders are to proceed to our position at maximum speed, maintain radio silence and wait for contact. When the first boat spots the convoy, they'll signal the others. Then we all converge, night surface attack, hit them hard and fast before the escorts can organize a defense. Rudeltaktik, Wolfpack tactics. It's what we train for, what we're built for. Top is transforming the boat. The lazy, bored routine of the last week is gone. Now everything is sharp, focused, urgent. He's drilling the crew constantly. Torpedo tube checks, attack procedures, emergency procedures, silent running procedures. We have approximately 72 hours to be in position, he told the officers. That means we run on the surface as much as possible. Maximum speed on both diesels. We dive only if we spot aircraft, otherwise we push hard. 17 knots, the boat is vibrating with the power of the diesels running full out. Black smoke pours from the exhausts. The deck watch can see it trailing behind us, a dark smudge against the grey sky. If any aircraft spots that smoke, we're dead. But we have to take the risk, we have to reach the patrol line before the convoy passes through. The men are energized, you can feel it. The boredom is gone. replaced by nervous excitement. This is what we're here for. This is the mission. Find the enemy, sink them, hurt the British war effort, make the crossing from America to England as dangerous and expensive as possible. I should feel the same energy, the same excitement. But all I feel is dread. I've done this before. 3 times. I know what comes next. The waiting, the stalking, the attack, the explosions, the fires, the men dying in the water. And after the attack comes the reprisal, the destroyers and corvettes hunting us, the depth charges, the crushing fear as the explosions get closer and closer, the wondering if the next one will be the one that cracks the hull and lets the ocean rush in. I don't want to do this again, but I don't have a choice. I'm an officer in the Kriegsmarine. I have orders, I have a duty, I have a crew depending on me to do my job and do it well. So I will do my job. I will calculate the torpedo solutions. I will coordinate the watch officers. I will help Top find and attack the convoy. I will do everything I'm trained to do. And I will try not to think about the men we're going to kill. Schneider is ecstatic. He's been checking and rechecking the torpedoes constantly. All 14 of them. 4 in the bow tubes, 1 in the stern tube, 9 reloads stored throughout the boat. Each one is 3.5 meters long, weighs 1.5 tons and carries 300 kilograms of high explosive. We carry 2 types, G7A torpedoes, steam-powered, fast, 40 knots, but they leave a visible wake on the surface. And G7E torpedoes, battery-powered, slower, 30 knots, but wakeless and silent, harder for the enemy to spot. The magnetic detonators are unreliable. They're supposed to detect the metal hull of a ship and detonate underneath, breaking the keel, maximizing damage. But they misfire constantly. Either they go off too early, or they don't go off at all, and the torpedo just bounces off the hull harmlessly. So we're using contact detonators, simple impact triggers. They work when the torpedo hits the ship, it explodes. Basic physics, basic engineering, basic murder. I need to stop thinking like this. The Kailu gathered all the officers this afternoon for a tactical briefing. He spread the charts on the wardroom table, pointed out our position, the projected convoy route, the other U-boats in the Wolfpack. U-438 is here, he said, tapping the chart. U-594 is here, U-607 here, 4 others farther north. When one of us spots the convoy, we signal. Then we all converge from different directions, overwhelm the escorts. Multiple simultaneous attacks, they can't defend everywhere at once. What's the escort strength likely to be? I asked. Unknown. B. Deans couldn't determine that from the intercepts. But for a convoy of 50 plus ships, we should expect at least 6 to 8 escorts. Destroyers, corvettes, maybe a frigate, possibly air cover during the day if they're within range of Iceland or Newfoundland. What if they have HFDF? Someone asked. If we transmit, they'll know where we are. Top nodded. It's a risk, but we only transmit once when we make initial contact. Quick burst encrypted, then silence. They'll know a U-boat is in the area, but they won't know how many. And by the time they react, we'll be coming at them from 8 different directions. It sounds good when he explains it. Logical, professional, clean. It won't be clean. I know Top. I've watched him in combat. He's aggressive. He takes risks. He gets results. That's why he has 35 ships to his name. That's why he wears the Knight's Cross. But aggression means danger. Risk means casualties. Results mean putting us in situations where we might not come back. I trust him. I do. He's brought us home 3 times already. He knows what he's doing. But eventually, every commander's luck runs out. I'm being morbid again. I need to focus. We're running drills constantly now. The whole crew on edge, ready. Yesterday we practiced an attack run on an imaginary target. Top called out the ranges and bearings, and we calculated the firing solution. Bearing, speed, range, torpedo speed, lead angle, all the mathematics you need to put a torpedo into the side of a moving ship from 1,000 meters away. I'm good at the math. Engineering training helps. Numbers and trajectories and physics. It's abstract when you're calculating it. Just values on paper, variables in an equation, until the torpedo hits, until the ship explodes, until the men start screaming, then it's not abstract anymore. Werner Becker, the 17-year-old, asked me yesterday what it's like. An attack, I mean. I don't know how to describe it, I told him. It happens very fast. The Kaleo gives the orders, you execute them, and then it's over. You don't really have time to think. Are you scared? He asked. I should have lied. I should have been the strong officer, the example, the leader. Yes, I said, every time. He looked relieved, like he'd been given permission to be human. Does it help? He asked. Being scared? Does it make you more careful? It makes you survive, I said. That's all that matters. 3 days. 3 days until we reach the patrol line, 3 days until we start hunting, 3 days to prepare, 3 days to be afraid. The ocean is getting rougher, we're farther north now. Closer to the Newfoundland banks, the water is darker, colder. The swells are bigger, the boat pitches and rolls, and you have to hold on to something constantly or you'll be thrown against the bulkheads. Half the crew is seasick, vomiting into buckets, trying to keep working through the nausea. The smell makes it worse. Vomit and diesel and sweat. The air is thick with it. I've never gotten seasick. My father's blood, I suppose. Born to the sea. But I see the men suffering and I feel guilty that I'm fine. Stupid guilt. Irrational, but guilt nonetheless. Krüger is making the most of the fresh food while it lasts. Tonight he fried up bacon and potatoes, real bacon, crispy and salty. It tasted like heaven, like home, like normal life before the war. The men ate in silence, savoring every bite, knowing it might be the last good meal for weeks. After this, it's canned food and hardtack and whatever doesn't spoil in the damp. I saved my bacon fat, soaked it up with a piece of bread, ate it slowly, making it last, closed my eyes and pretended I was home. Sitting at my mother's kitchen table, Sunday morning, the sun coming through the windows, Anna laughing about something, my father reading the newspaper. When I opened my eyes, I was in the U-boat wardroom. Grey metal walls, dim lights, the smell of diesel, the reality of where I am, what I'm doing, what's coming. Tomorrow we'll be in position. Tomorrow the waiting begins. Tomorrow we start hunting. May God forgive us for what we're about to do. August 15th, 1942, 0200 hours, Grid Square, BD 63. We found them, or rather U-594 found them 3 hours ago. Spotted smoke on the horizon just after sunset, got close enough to count ships, transmitted the contact report, gave the position, course and speed, convoy SC-97, 59 merchant ships, 6 escorts visible, heading northeast at 8 knots. The wolf pack is converging. We're 60 kilometers south of the convoy, running on the surface at full speed, racing to intercept. The diesels are screaming, 17 knots, maybe 18, pushing the boat as hard as she'll go. Black smoke pouring from the exhausts. The deck watch can barely stand upright in the wind. I'm in the control room, off watch technically, but nobody's sleeping. The whole crew is awake, alert, preparing. This is what we've been waiting for. This is why we're here. Top is on the bridge with the watch officer and 2 lookouts. He'll stay there until the attack. He runs the boat from the bridge during surface actions, eyes on the target, calling down orders through the voice tube. The watch officer in the control room executes them. That's me tonight. I'm running the boat while Top hunts. My hands are sweating. My heart is pounding. I can feel it in my throat, in my ears. The adrenaline making everything sharper, brighter, faster. This is my 4th attack. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. I'm not. Schneider is in the forward torpedo room with his men. All 4 bow tubes are loaded and ready. G7E electric torpedoes, wakeless, silent, the best chance of hitting without being spotted. The magnetic detonators have been disabled. We're using contact detonators only. Impact trigger. When the torpedo hits the ship, it explodes. No failures, no misfires, just reliable destruction. I can hear the crew moving through the boat, checking systems, testing equipment, making sure everything is ready. The atmosphere is electric, tense, focused. The Kaleu's voice comes down through the tube. Control room, bridge, we have visual contact, estimated range 20 kilometers, multiple smoke columns, I count at least 40 ships. Bridge, control room, understood, I reply. 20 kilometers, 40 ships. We'll approach from the southern flank. Top continues. Wait for full darkness. Attack on the surface, all tubes ready. All tubes ready, understood. This is it. This is really happening. I can feel my stomach knotting. My mouth is dry. I take a drink of water from my canteen. It doesn't help. Focus. I need to focus. The crew is watching me, looking to me for confidence, for leadership. I can't let them see that I'm afraid, even though I am, even though every fiber of my being is screaming at me to turn around, to run, to get away from what's coming. But there's nowhere to run, not out here, not in the middle of the Atlantic. We're committed, the convoy is ahead, and we're going to attack it, and men are going to die. Some of them might be us. The navigator is plotting the intercept course. The engineer is monitoring the diesels. The radio operator is listening for any change in the situation. Everything is running smoothly, professionally, like the machine we're trained to be. Time crawls by, minutes feel like hours. I watch the clock on the bulkhead. 2300 hours, 23:15, 23:30. Control room, bridge, Top's voice again. Range 10 kilometers. Convoy is in sight. I can see the escort's silhouettes. 2 corvettes on the southern flank. 1 destroyer leading. Bridge, control room, understood. 10 kilometers, 2 corvettes, 1 destroyer. We'll circle ahead. Get in front of them. Wait until they come to us. Prepare for action. Preparing for action, all stations. I pass the word through the boat. All stations, prepare for action. All stations, prepare for action. The crew moves faster now. Final checks. Final preparations. Schneider reports all torpedo tubes ready. The engineer reports both diesels running smoothly. Everything is ready. We are ready. The clock says 0000 hours. Midnight, a new day. August 15th. I wonder if I'll live to see the sun rise. Control room, bridge, we're in position, range 3 kilometers. I can see the lead ships, freighters, bulk carriers, a few tankers in the center of the formation. Bridge, control room, understood. Stand by to attack. This is it. I can hear my own breathing. Fast. Shallow. I force myself to breathe deeper, slower, calm. I need to be calm. The men in the control room are watching me. The helmsman, the plainsman, the navigator, all of them waiting for orders, trusting me. I can't let them down. Control room, bridge, I have a target. Large freighter, approximately 6,000 tons, range 1,500 meters, bearing 045, speed 8 knots. I repeat the information to Schneider. He calculates the firing solution. Torpedo speed 30 knots, lead angle 20 degrees. Set depth 3 meters. Torpedo solution ready, Schneider reports. Bridge, control room, torpedo solution ready. Fire tubes 1 and 2 on my mark, top orders. 3, 2, 1, fire 1. Tube 1 fired, Schneider reports. Fire 2. Tube 2 fired. 2 G7E torpedoes racing through the dark water at 30 knots, silent and invisible, aimed at the heart of a merchant ship whose crew has no idea death is coming for them. Torpedoes running true, the hydrophone operator reports. I hear them. 30 knots, straight course. 90 seconds to impact, 90 seconds for the torpedoes to cross 1500 meters. I counted down in my head. 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Impact! The hydrophone operator shouts. A muffled boom rolls across the water. Then another. 2 hits. Bridge, control room, 2 hits, confirmed. I see it, Top says. His voice is calm, professional. The freighter is listing, taking water. She's going down. I should feel triumph. Success. We hit the target. We did our job. But all I feel is sick. Because somewhere on that ship, men are dying. The torpedo hit below the waterline, blew a hole in the hull. Water is pouring in, and the ship is sinking, and the crew is scrambling to get to the lifeboats. If they're lucky, they'll make it. If they're lucky, they'll get off before the ship goes down. If they're lucky, the escorts will rescue them. But probably they won't be lucky. Probably some of them will be trapped below decks. Probably some of them will drown in the darkness as the compartments flood. Probably some of them will go down with the ship, screaming, clawing at the water, their lungs burning, dying afraid and alone in the cold Atlantic. Control room, bridge, second target, tanker, range 2000 meters, bearing 070. No, not a tanker. Please, not a tanker. Fire 3 and 4, top orders. Tube 3, fired. Tube 4, fired. I want to vomit. I want to scream. I want to tell him to stop, to break off the attack, to leave these people alone, but I don't. I stand here. I relay the orders. I do my job because I'm a coward, because I'm afraid of what would happen if I refused. Court-martial, execution, disgrace, my family ruin, because I'm a good German officer who follows orders no matter what. Impact, 2 hits, another boom. Louder this time. Much louder. Gott in Himmel, Top breathes. She's burning. The tanker, we hit a fuel tanker, oil or gasoline or aviation fuel, something flammable. And now it's on fire. Control room bridge, the tanker is a fireball, flames 50 meters high. I can see it clearly from here. It's lighting up the whole convoy. Bridge, control room, understood. My voice sounds strange, distant, like someone else is speaking. The crew is abandoning ship, Top continues. I can see men jumping. They're landing in the burning oil on the water there. Christ. He trails off, doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. I can imagine it. The oil floating on the surface, on fire. The men jumping from the burning ship into the burning water. Screaming, dying, burning alive. We did that. We caused that. I caused that. Control room, bridge. The escorts are reacting. I see the corvettes turning. They're coming this way, all ahead full, prepare to dive. All ahead full, preparing to dive. The helmsman increases speed, the diesels roar. We're running, getting away before the escorts reach us. We'll range to nearest corvette 1000 meters and closing. They've seen us, I can see their bow wave, they're coming fast. Ah, ooga, dive, dive, dive. The alarm klaxon blares. The crew jumps into action. Top comes down the ladder fast, drops into the control room. The hatch slams shut above him. The lookouts are right behind him. Flood main ballast, I order. The vents open. Air rushes out. Water rushes in. The boat starts to sink. Take her to 60 meters. Level her off. Silent running. 60 meters, level off. Silent running. Understood. The deck tilts. We're going down. Fast. Too fast. The plainsman is working the controls, trying to level us out. 50 meters, 45, 50, 55, 60, level at 60 meters, all ahead slow, silent running, secure from patrol stations. The electric motors take over, quiet, almost silent. We glide through the dark water like a ghost. Above us, the escorts are hunting. I can hear them through the hull, the thrum of their propellers, the ping of their sonar, SDIC, active sonar, sending out sound waves, listening for the echo that will tell them where we are. Ping, ping, ping. The sound sends shivers down my spine, like the tapping of a blind man's cane. Searching, searching, getting closer. Silence in the boat. Top orders quietly. Nobody moves. Nobody speaks. We stand frozen, barely breathing, listening. The pinging continues. Ping, ping, ping. Then it changes. Faster. Shorter intervals. Ping, 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 ping. They found us, the hydrophone operator whispers. Brace for depth charges. Oh God. Oh God, oh God, oh God. This is it. This is where we die. Trapped in a metal tube, 60 meters underwater while the British drop bombs on us. The propeller sounds are directly overhead now. Right above us. So close I can hear individual blade rotations, then they pass, moving away, fading. They're going to drop. Any second now. Any second. The first explosion hits 50 meters behind us, not close enough to damage us, but close enough to feel. The pressure wave rolls through the water and slams into the hull. The boat shudders, the lights flicker. Cork insulation rains down from overhead. Then another explosion, closer, maybe 30 meters, then another. And another, a pattern of 10 depth charges. Walking toward us, getting closer. The boat is shaking. Pipes are rattling. The men are white-faced, gripping whatever they can hold onto. A massive explosion. Directly above us, the boat heels over 30 degrees. The lights go out. Emergency lighting comes on, dim and red. Something is screaming. Metal on metal. A pipe has ruptured. Water is spraying. Get that leak sealed, Top shouts. Men scramble. Someone gets a patch on it. The spraying stops. Damage report. Reports come in from all sections. Bow torpedo room, minor leaks. Engine room, port diesel has a cracked fuel line. After torpedo room, hydroplanes are jammed. Can we fix the hydroplanes? Top demands. We're trying, Kalu. The escorts are circling back. I can hear them. They're coming around for another pass. This is going to happen again. They're going to drop more depth charges. And more. And more. Until they either kill us or run out of ammunition. I'm gripping the edge of the chart table so hard my fingers hurt. My knuckles are white. I can't let go. If I let go, I'll fall, or I'll start shaking and won't be able to stop. Werner Becker, the 17-year-old, is in the corner. His eyes are huge. He's crying. Tears running down his face. He's trying to hide it, but I can see. I want to go to him. Put a hand on his shoulder. Tell him it's going to be okay. But I can't move. And I can't lie. Because it might not be okay. This might be how we die. Another pattern of depth charges. Closer this time. 6 of them. The explosions are deafening. The boat is being shaken like a toy. Everything that isn't bolted down is flying. A coffee mug shatters against the bulkheads. Paper scatter. A man screams. The mechanic in the engine room, something hit him. The chief engineer is shouting for the medic. We're at 80 meters now. Deeper than we're supposed to go. The plainsman is fighting the controls, trying to bring us back up, but the hydroplanes are still jammed. Blow forward ballast, Top orders. Compressed air roars into the forward tanks. The bow starts to rise. Too fast, we're going up too quickly, we'll broach the surface. Flood forward, slow the ascent, water floods back in, we level out at 70 meters. The hydroplane controls are freed, the mechanic in the aft torpedo room got them unjammed. We have control again, the escorts are above us, still pinging, still searching, but they're moving away. They think they got us, or they think we escaped, or they're low on depth charges. I don't know. I don't care. They're leaving. We survived. I can breathe again. The Kalu orders us to stay down for 3 more hours. At dawn, we'll creep away, find a safe place to surface, assess the damage properly, recharge the batteries. 3 hours. 3 hours at 70 meters in a damaged boat with the air already foul and getting worse. But we're alive. For now, we're alive. I'm shaking. I've been holding it together, keeping calm, maintaining the professional mask. But now that the immediate danger is over, I'm shaking. My hands, my legs, my whole body. I need to sit down before I fall down, but I can't. The men are watching. I have to stay strong. I have to be the officer, the leader, the one who doesn't break. So I stand here, gripping the chart table, shaking, trying to breathe normally, trying not to think about the tanker, about the men burning, about their screams, trying not to think about how easily that could have been us, how close we came to dying, how the next depth charge might have crushed the hull and drowned us all, trying not to think at all, just stand here, do my job, survive. That's all that matters now. Survival, nothing else. August 17th, 1942, 1400 hours. Grid Square, BD, 68. We're still alive. Barely. It's been 2 days since the attack, 2 days of hiding, 2 days of repairs, 2 days of trying to process what happened. The tanker haunts me. I can't stop seeing it. When I close my eyes, I see the flames, 50 meters high, lighting up the night sky. The men jumping, landing in the burning oil, screaming. I can hear them in my head. Their screams, even though I wasn't on the bridge, even though I was in the control room, even though I never actually heard them. My imagination supplies the sounds, and they won't stop. The ship was the SS Pennsylvania Sun, American, 8,000 tons, carrying aviation fuel from New York to England, a legitimate military target, a valid kill, contributing to the war effort, helping the Allies. That's what I tell myself. It doesn't help. 200 men were on that ship. The convoy records we intercepted afterward listed the casualties. 37 survived. The escorts pulled them from the water. Burned, injured, traumatized. 163 died, 163 men. Some killed instantly by the torpedo explosion. Some drowned when the ship sank. Some burned to death in the oil fire. We did that. I did that. I relayed the firing orders. I coordinated the attack. I'm as responsible as the man who loaded the torpedoes or the Calais who gave the command. I killed 163 men. The freighter we hit first, that was another 42 dead. British ship, the 1B, 6,000 tons cargo vessel carrying food and supplies. She sank in 4 minutes. The crew never had a chance. Most went down with the ship. 205 men total. 2 ships, 2 attacks, 205 dead. Top credited us with both kills. Transmitted the report to BDU. Admiral Dönitz himself sent congratulations. Well done, U-552. Excellent marksmanship. Continue the hunt. Continue the hunt, like we're sportsmen. Like this is a game. Like we didn't just slaughter 200 people. I should feel proud. Victorious. We accomplished our mission. We hurt the enemy. We proved our worth. But all I feel is sick. The damage from the depth charges is worse than we initially thought. The port diesel has a cracked cylinder head. The chief engineer can patch it temporarily, but it won't hold indefinitely. We're running on 1 diesel and the electric motors. The starboard hydroplane is bent, still functional, but it catches when we dive, makes noise, makes us easier to detect. We have leaks in 3 different compartments, small ones. The pumps can handle them, but they're there, constant reminders that the ocean is trying to get in, trying to kill us. The crew is exhausted. The depth charge attack shook everyone. Werner Becker, the 17-year-old, hasn't stopped shaking. He tries to work, tries to follow orders, but his hands tremble constantly. He flinches at every sound. The medic gave him something to calm his nerves. It didn't help much. I want to tell him it gets easier, that you get used to it, that the fear fades, but it doesn't. It accumulates, layer upon layer, attack after attack, patrol after patrol, until you are carrying so much fear inside you that you can barely function, until you break. I'm not there yet, but I can feel it building, the cracks forming, the strain showing. How much longer can I do this? How many more ships can I help sink? How many more men can I kill before I can't live with myself anymore? We surfaced last night to recharge the batteries and ventilate the boat. The air inside had become poisonous, carbon dioxide levels too high. Everyone was getting headaches and nausea. Some men were passing out. The fresh air was heaven, cold and sharp and clean. I stood on the bridge and breathed it in, filled my lungs, felt almost human again. The ocean was calm, gentle swells, a half moon casting silver light across the water, beautiful, peaceful, indifferent to the war and the killing and the suffering. The ocean doesn't care. It was here long before us and will be here long after we're all gone. Our battles and our hatreds and our causes mean nothing to it. We're just temporary disturbances on the surface, briefly alive, then dead, then forgotten. There's something comforting about that, the scale of it, the indifference. It reminds me that this war, as huge as it feels, as all-consuming as it is actually small, temporary, meaningless in the grand scheme. We'll all be dead someday. The Nazis, the Allies, all of us, dead and gone and forgotten. And the ocean will still be here, rolling on, utterly unchanged. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse. Top came up to the bridge while I was on watch. He stood next to me, silent, looking out at the water. Finally he said, "You did well during the attack, Hartmann." "Thank you, Kalle. You kept your head, maintained discipline. That's what matters." I didn't respond. What could I say? "This is hard," he continued quietly. "I know it is. It never gets easier. Anyone who tells you it does is lying." I looked at him. His face was in shadow, but I could see his profile against the moonlight. Hard, tired, old beyond his years. "How do you do it?" I asked. "How do you keep going? Patrol after patrol, attack after attack." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Because if I don't, someone else will. Someone who might not care as much about bringing the crew home safely, someone who might take stupid risks and get good men killed. So you do it to protect them." "Yes. And because," he paused, chose his words carefully, "because I believe in these men, not the cause, not the Führer, not the Reich, but these men, my crew. They deserve a commander who will fight for them, who will do everything possible to keep them alive." It was the most honest thing I'd ever heard him say, and the most dangerous. If the wrong person heard him express doubts about the cause, about Hitler, it would mean a court-martial, execution, but he trusted me enough to share that. "I understand," I said. "Good." He turned to go below, then stopped. "Hartmann, take care of yourself. Don't let this destroy you. The war will end someday. You need to survive it with your soul intact." Then he was gone, leaving me alone on the bridge, with his words echoing in my head. Survive it with your soul intact. Is that even possible? Can you kill 200 men and keep your soul intact? Can you watch people burn and drown and die and remain human? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm writing this in my bunk. It's 1400 hours. I should be sleeping. I have to watch tonight from 2000 to midnight. 4 hours on the bridge scanning for targets and threats. But I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see the tanker, the flames, the men burning. So I write instead, pour it all out onto paper, try to make sense of it, try to process the horror and the guilt and the fear. It doesn't help. But it's all I have. Margaret's letter is in my pocket. I took it out and read it again this morning. Her words about wedding plans and honeymoon destinations seem to belong to a different world, a different life, one where people get married and plan futures and believe in happy endings. I want to believe in that world. I want to believe I'll survive this patrol and go home and marry her and have a normal life. But it feels impossible now. That world and this world don't connect. How can I stand in a cathedral and say vows after what I've done? How can I hold her hand and smile for wedding photos when I have blood on my hands? Literal and figurative blood. 163 men burned to death because I relayed the orders that sent the torpedoes into their ship. How do you live with that? How do you build a life? How do you look at yourself in the mirror? I don't have answers, just questions, endless questions spiraling in my head. Werner Becker asked me earlier if I thought we'd all go to hell for this, for the killing. I don't know, I told him honestly. Maybe, if there is a hell, and if God judges us for what we do in war, then maybe. Do you believe in God? He asked. I had to think about that. I was raised Lutheran, attended church with my family, was confirmed at 14, but did I believe? Really believe? I don't know, I said again. I want to, but I don't know how God could allow this, any of this. The war, the killing, the suffering. If he exists and he's good, how does he let it happen? Becker didn't have an answer either. We sat in silence. Then he said, very quietly, I prayed during the depth charge attack. I know it's hypocritical, I never pray. But when I thought we were going to die, I prayed. I begged God to save us. Maybe he did, I said, or maybe we just got lucky. Maybe that's the same thing. He smiled a little at that, a small, sad smile. The radio room just intercepted another transmission from BDU. New orders for the Wolf Pack. The convoy is heading northeast, and we're to reform the patrol line farther north, cut them off, hit them again. Again. We're going to attack them again. More ships, more deaths, more burning and drowning and killing. I can't do this, I can't. But I have to. I'm an officer, I have orders, I have a duty, so I'll do it. I'll help plan the attack, I'll relay the commands, I'll watch more ships burn and more men die, and I'll carry it with me, add it to the weight I'm already carrying. Hope it doesn't crush me. Hope I survive with my soul intact, whatever that means anymore. August 18th, 1942, 0800 hours. Grid square BD 65. Last night was bad. Worse than bad. I need to write this down while I can still think clearly, while the fear hasn't completely taken over. We spent 16 hours submerged yesterday. 16 hours. Hiding from a convoy we were supposed to be hunting, because they weren't alone, because they had escorts everywhere, destroyers and corvettes circling like sharks, active sonar pinging constantly. Searching, we slipped in close, too close. Top wanted to get into firing position. We were at periscope depth, gliding silently through the water, trying to line up a shot. Then the ice stick locked onto us. The pinging changed. Faster, more urgent. Ping, 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 ping. They've got us, the hydrophone operator said. His voice was shaking. Corvette at 200 meters and closing fast. Take her deep, Top ordered. 150 meters. Silent running. We dove. Fast. The plainsman pushed us down and the depth gauge spun. 60 meters. 80. 100, 120, 150. We leveled off. The pressure at this depth is immense. The hull creaks, groans. You can hear the metal complaining. Stressed beyond its design limits type. 7 Cs are rated for 220 meters maximum. But that's theory. In practice, anything below 150 is dangerous. Below 200 is suicide. The hull plates will buckle. The seams will split. The ocean will rush in. We were at 150, right at the edge. Silent in the boat, Top whispered. Nobody moves. We froze, all 44 of us. Not moving, barely breathing. The only sounds were the creaking of the hull and the pinging of the Aztec above us. Ping, ping, ping. The corvette was directly overhead. I could hear her propellers. Thrum, 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 thrum. Slow and deliberate. She was moving into position. Everyone knew what was coming. Then the first depth charge exploded. Not as close as I feared. Maybe 60 meters away. But close enough. The pressure wave hit us like a hammer. The boat lurched sideways. The lights went out. Emergency lighting came on. Then another. Closer. 40 meters, then another 30 meters, then a massive explosion right above us. 20 meters, maybe 15. The boat heeled over 40 degrees. Everything not secured went flying. Men were thrown against the bulkheads. The sound was deafening, a metallic boom that resonated through every centimeter of the hull. Cork insulation rained down like snow. Pipes burst. Water sprayed. Alarms shrieked. "Seal that leak!" someone was shouting. "The forward torpedo room is flooding!" "Get it under control!" Men scrambled. The mechanic got a patch on the ruptured pipe. The flooding slowed, stopped, but we could hear the water. Inside the boat now. Sloshing in the bilges, the pumps running, trying to keep up. Another explosion, another, a pattern of 10 depth charges walking across our position. Methodical, professional, trying to kill us. The boat shuddered with each impact. Metal screamed. Something in the engine room broke. The chief engineer was shouting orders, trying to fix it. "Depth 180 meters, the plainsman reported. His voice was high, terrified. Still descending. We were too heavy. Taking on water, sinking. "Blow ballast," Top ordered. Compressed air roared into the tanks. We stabilized, stopped sinking. But we were at 180 meters. Far beyond safe limits. The hull was creaking continuously now. Long, drawn-out groans, the metal protesting. Preparing to fail. If we went any deeper, we would die. The hull would implode. The ocean would crush us. 44 men turned into pulp in an instant. The corvette was circling back, getting ready for another pass. "How many depth charges can they carry?" Someone whispered. 30? Maybe 40? Someone else answered. They dropped 10. They had 20 or 30 more. They could do this 3 more times, 4 more times, drop pattern after pattern until they got lucky, until they cracked our hull and killed us. Werner Becker was crying, not quietly anymore, sobbing, his whole body shaking. He'd lost control. The medic moved toward him. "Becker, listen. To me. Look at me. Breathe. Just breathe." But Becker couldn't stop. The fear had taken over completely. He was hysterical. The medic pulled out a syringe, morphine. He injected it into Becker's arm. After a minute, the boy went limp, unconscious, quiet. Better that way. Better unconscious than screaming. I wanted the medic to give me morphine too. I wanted to not be awake for this. I wanted to not feel the terror crushing my chest, making it hard to breathe. But I'm an officer. I had to stay alert, had to maintain control, had to set an example. So I stood there, gripping the chart table, my hands white-knuckled, my heart hammering in my chest, praying. I was praying. Not words exactly, just a desperate, incoherent plea to whatever might be listening. Please don't let us die, please not like this. Trapped and helpless and drowning in the dark. Another pattern of depth charges. Closer this time, much closer. 3 explosions within 20 meters. The boat was thrown sideways. Men were screaming. Something in the control room shattered. The depth gauge. The glass had cracked, and now we couldn't read it accurately. "Estimate depth," Top demanded. 190 meters, Calais. Maybe more. We were dying, slowly sinking, the hull groaning, the water finding every weakness, every crack, every seam. This was it. This was how we were going to die. The corvette was passing directly overhead again, preparing to drop more charges, but then something changed. The propeller sound started to fade, moving away. "She's leaving," the hydrophone operator whispered. She's leaving." We waited, silent, listening. The propeller sounds faded completely. The pinging stopped. She was gone. For 30 seconds, nobody moved, nobody spoke. Then Top said quietly, "Blow all ballast, bring us up to 100 meters." Slowly. We rose, carefully, fighting the trim. The boat was damaged, taking on water. The controls sluggish, but we rose 150 meters, 130, 120, 100. We leveled off. "Damage report," Top ordered. The reports came in. Forward torpedo room, major leak, pump barely keeping up. Engine room, both diesels offline, cracked fuel lines and damaged exhaust. Battery compartment, minor leak, chlorine gas danger if seawater reaches the batteries. Aft torpedo room, stern torpedo tube, ruptured, flooded, sealed off. The boat was crippled. We couldn't dive safely. We couldn't run on the surface at full speed. We were a sitting duck. "Can we make it home?" Top asked the chief engineer. "If we don't encounter any more depth charges, if we can surface at night to run on one diesel and recharge the batteries, if the leaks don't get worse, maybe. It'll take twice as long as normal, but maybe." Top was quiet for a long moment, thinking, calculating the risks. Finally he said, "Send a message to BDU. U-552 sustained damage from depth charge attack. Breaking off patrol, returning to base." The radio. Operator sent the encrypted message, a quick burst transmission, then silence again. We waited 6 more hours before surfacing, waited for full darkness, waited for the convoy to move on, waited to be sure we were alone. When we finally surfaced, the fresh air was like a miracle, cold and clean and life-giving. Half the crew vomited immediately. The air inside had been poisonous, too much carbon dioxide, not enough oxygen. We'd been slowly suffocating. I stood on the bridge and breathed. Deep, gasping breaths. My chest hurt, my head was pounding, but I was alive. We were alive. Top stood next to me. He looked 100 years old, his face gray, his hands shaking slightly. "Hartmann," he said quietly. "Yes, Kalle." "That was too close." "Yes, sir. We got lucky. If they'd dropped one more pattern, if we'd been 10 meters deeper." He didn't finish. He didn't need to. "We survived," I said. "That's what matters." He nodded, but he didn't look convinced. He looked like a man who'd seen his death approaching and only escaped by the narrowest of margins. He looked like I felt. We've been running on the surface since then. One diesel barely functioning, making 8 knots, heading southwest toward France, toward Saint-Nazaire, toward home. If we make it, if we don't encounter any Allied patrols, if the boat holds together, if. Too many ifs. The men are shattered. The depth charge attack broke something in all of us. The thin veneer of confidence and professionalism has cracked. Now they just look afraid. Hollow-eyed and exhausted and traumatized. We're ghosts. Living ghosts piloting a dying boat across an ocean that wants us dead. I haven't slept in 36 hours. Every time I close my eyes, I feel the depth charges, the boat shaking, the water rising, the certainty of death pressing down. I can't sleep. I'm afraid if I sleep, I'll dream. And I can't handle the dreams right now. So I stay awake, I write, I stand my watch, I do my job, and I try not to think about how close we came, how we almost died, how 44 men almost drowned in the darkness at 190 meters, how I almost never saw Margaret again, how I almost never kept my promise to marry her, how I almost died afraid and alone and forgotten. But we didn't die. Not yet. We're still alive, still fighting, still trying to make it home. Maybe God answered my prayers. Maybe We just got lucky. Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore except that I want to live. I want to survive. I want to go home. Please, please, let us make it home. August 22nd, 1942, 1900 hours. Grid Square, BE 69. 4 days since the depth charge attack. 4 days of limping toward France on one diesel engine. 4 days of constant vigilance and prayer and hope. We're still afloat. Barely. The leaks are getting worse. The pumps run constantly, and we're still slowly taking on water. The chief engineer says we have maybe 4 more days before the flooding becomes critical. 4 days to reach Saint-Nazaire. The math is tight. We're making 8 knots on a good day, 7 on a bad day. We need to cover approximately 1,500 kilometers. At 8 knots, that's 78 hours. Just over 3 days. We might make it if nothing else goes wrong. If we don't encounter any enemy patrols. If the weather holds. If the boat doesn't break down completely. If, always if, the crew is beyond exhausted. We're running on fumes, nobody's sleeping properly. The constant stress, the fear, the knowledge that we're in a damaged boat, hundreds of kilometers from safety. It wears you down, grinds you into nothing. Werner Becker is barely functional. The medic keeps him sedated most of the time. When he's awake, he just stares at nothing. Doesn't speak, doesn't respond. Something broke inside him during the depth charges. Something fundamental. He's 17 years old. He'll carry this for the rest of his life. If he lives, if any of us live. I've been thinking a lot about the men we killed, the tanker crew, the freighter crew, 205 men who died because we torpedoed their ships. I used to be able to compartmentalize it, tell myself they were the enemy, tell myself it was war, tell myself it was necessary. I can't do that anymore. They were men, human beings with families and homes and lives they wanted to live. They didn't want to be in this war any more than I do. They were just doing their jobs, following orders, trying to survive, and we killed them. I killed them. I see their faces now, I imagine them. Young men, old men, fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, real people with real lives. Gone now. Dead because of me. The freighter sank in 4 minutes. Most of the crew was below decks. They never had a chance to escape. The compartments flooded in seconds. They drowned in the darkness, screaming, clawing at the walls, their lungs filling with cold seawater. The tanker was worse. The ones who didn't die in the torpedo explosion had to choose. Jump into the burning oil or stay on the burning ship, die by fire or die by fire. No good options, just different versions of the same horrible death. And I heard them. Top said he heard them screaming, faint over the distance, but audible. Men burning alive, begging for help we wouldn't give, couldn't give. If we'd surfaced to help, the escorts would have sunk us, so we left them, let them die, saved ourselves. That's war. That's how it works. You kill the enemy and escape before they kill you. You don't stop to help. You don't show mercy. You don't acknowledge their humanity. Because if you do, you can't keep fighting. You can't keep killing. You can't function. But I can't stop thinking about them. The screaming, the burning, the dying. I'm going to hell. If there is a hell, I'm going there. No question. What I've done, what I've participated in, that's not forgivable. That's not something you can wash away with. Prayers or good deeds or regret. I have blood on my hands, literal and figurative. And it won't wash off. The sky is clear tonight. I was on the bridge during the evening watch. The stars are out. Millions of them. The Milky Way, like a river of light across the black sky. Beautiful, peaceful. The universe utterly indifferent to our suffering. I used to love stargazing. My father would take me out on his boat at night. We'd lie on the deck and look up at the stars. He'd teach me the constellations, Orion, Cassiopeia, Ursa Major, the North Star. He'd tell me stories about the ancient sailors who used those stars to navigate, who sailed across unknown oceans with nothing but the stars to guide them, who were brave and skilled and free. I wanted to be like them, a sailor, an explorer, someone who understood the sea and respected it and lived in harmony with it. Instead, I'm this, a killer, someone who uses the ocean as a hunting ground, who treats ships as targets and men as tonnage statistics. This isn't what I wanted, this isn't who I wanted to be. But here I am, and I can't undo it. I can't take back the torpedoes, I can't resurrect the dead. I can only carry the weight and hope it doesn't destroy me. I played chess with Schneider tonight. We're both too tired to play well. I made stupid mistakes. He made stupid mistakes. The game didn't matter. It was just something to do, something to distract us from thinking. He's been unusually quiet since the depth charge attack. He used to joke and laugh and stay optimistic. Now he's withdrawn, somber. He knows how close we came to dying. Do you ever think about it? He asked suddenly. What happens after? If we survive the war? Sometimes, I said. I can't imagine it, he said. Normal life, a job, a house, going to sleep at night without waiting for the alarm klaxon, eating food that doesn't taste like diesel, living without fear. We'll adjust, I said. Eventually. Will we? He looked at me. His eyes were haunted. How do you adjust after this? How do you pretend you're normal when you've done what we've done, seen what we've seen? I didn't have an answer. My father wants me to take over the family business, he continued. Manufacturing, textiles, respectable middle-class life. He thinks after the war I'll come home, settle down, marry some nice girl, produce grandchildren. Will you? I don't know if I can. How do you sit in an office discussing fabric orders when you've watched men burn to death? How do you make small talk at dinner parties when you've been in a metal coffin 190 meters underwater waiting to die? You do it because the alternative is letting it destroy you, I said. You do it because the men who died don't get that chance. They don't get to go home. They don't get normal lives. So if we survive, we owe it to them to live. Really live. Not just exist, but build something. Create something. Find joy. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, When did you become a philosopher? When I started thinking too much. He almost smiled. That's dangerous on a U-boat. Everything is dangerous on a U-boat. We finished the chess game. He won. I let him. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I was just too tired to play well. It doesn't matter. Krüger made dinner. Canned herring and hardtack. The fresh food is long gone. Now we're down to the unappetizing stuff that lasts forever. The herring tastes like metal. The hardtack is so hard it could break your teeth. You have to soak it in water or coffee before you can eat it. But we eat it, because food is food, energy is energy. We need to stay functional. My stomach hurts constantly now. The diet, the stress, the fear. I haven't had a normal bowel movement in 2 weeks. Sorry, that's disgusting. But it's the reality. This is what life on a U-boat is really like. Not glory and heroism, just discomfort and filth and slowly deteriorating health. I've lost weight. My uniform hangs loose. My belt needs an extra notch. I can count my ribs when I wash, which is rarely. All of us are like this. Gaunt, pale, the color of mushrooms. We haven't seen real sunlight in weeks. Just the dim interior lights and brief moments on the bridge at night. We look like corpses. Living corpses piloting a floating tomb. Cheerful thoughts. Really keeping morale up, Klaus. I need to write about something positive. Something that doesn't make me want to jump overboard. Margarete. I can write about Margarete. I've been thinking about our wedding. Really thinking about it. Not just vague, pleasant thoughts, but actual planning. What I want it to be like. Small, intimate, just family and close friends, not a big Nazi propaganda show. No party officials, no swastikas, no speeches about duty and the fatherland. Just us. Margaret in a simple white dress, me in a proper suit, not my uniform, her mother crying happy tears, my father looking proud, Anna as maid of honor, probably crying too, the ceremony at St. Patrick Cathedral like Margaret once, then a small reception somewhere, good food, music, dancing, laughter, normal, human, beautiful. I want that so badly it hurts. I want to believe it's possible that I'll survive this patrol and go home and make it happen, but I'm afraid to hope. Because hope feels dangerous now. Every time I let myself hope, something terrible happens. The depth charges, the flooding, the deaths. So maybe if I don't hope, if I don't expect to survive, then somehow I will. Reverse psychology applied to fate. That's stupid. Magical thinking. But out here in this limping, damaged boat, with death following us across the ocean, magical thinking is all I have. The radio just picked up a transmission. Not for us, for U-594, our Wolfpack mate, the one with my friend Heinrich Müller, aboard. I can't make out the message, it's encoded, but the radio operator looked grim when he passed it to top. Something bad. Something happened to 594, I'll find out soon enough. Bad news spreads fast on a U-boat. There's nothing else to think about, nothing else to talk about. I should try to sleep. I have the middle watch. Midnight to 0400, 4 hours on the bridge in the cold and dark, watching for threats, praying we make it home. But I can't sleep. My mind won't shut off. The thoughts keep spinning, the fears, the guilt, the memories. So I write instead, pour it all onto paper, try to make sense of the senseless. It doesn't work, but at least it gives me something to do. 3 or 4 more days until Saint-Nazaire, until dry land, until safety. If we make it, please God, let us make it. September 2nd, 1942, 1000 hours, grid square BE 73, U-594 is gone. The official message came through yesterday. Sunk by HMS Broadway, destroyer, depth charges, all hands lost, 48 men, no survivors. Heinrich Müller was on that boat. Heinrich, my friend. We went through U-boat school together, graduated the same day in January of 1940, celebrated together, got drunk together at a pub in Neustadt, and made stupid promises about surviving the war and visiting each other's families afterwards. He was married. Helga. Sweet girl from Hamburg. They got married right before he shipped out on his first patrol. She was pregnant then. Had the baby while he was at sea. A daughter. Greta. He showed me the letter when we met up in Saint-Nazaire last month. Showed me the photo of his baby girl. 9 months old. Blonde hair like her mother. He was so proud. Now he's dead. 48 men crushed and drowned at the bottom of the Atlantic. And that little girl will never know her father, never hear his voice, never feel him hold her. Helga is a widow at 23, a single mother, alone, and I'm alive. Why? Why did we survive and they didn't? We were in the same wolf pack, hunting the same convoy, facing the same dangers. We got depth charged and barely escaped. They got depth charged and died. What's the difference? Luck, skill, random chance, God's will? Though, I'm starting to doubt God pays any attention to this war. If he does, he has a cruel sense of justice. I promised Heinrich once, after too many drinks, that if anything happened to him, I would check on his family, make sure they were okay. It was one of those promises you make assuming you'll never have to keep it, assuming you'll both survive, assuming the universe isn't that unfair. The universe is exactly that unfair. Now I have to keep that promise. When we get back to Saint-Nazaire, when I get leave, I need to go to Hamburg, find Helga, tell her, what? That her husband was a good officer, that he died serving the fatherland, that his sacrifice had meaning. All lies, comfortable lies we tell widows to help them sleep at night. The truth is he died screaming in a metal tube as the ocean crushed it. The truth is his death accomplished nothing except adding one more name to the casualty list. The truth is that little girl Greta will grow up without a father because of this pointless, grinding, endless war. But I can't tell her that, so I'll lie, I'll wear my uniform and present his Iron Cross and say the things that are expected. I'll play my part in the theater of mourning, and I'll carry one more weight, one more name, one more ghost. The crew is demoralized. News of 594 sinking spread through the boat within minutes. Everyone knew someone on that boat. The U-boat community is small. We train together, drink together, die together. Top made a brief announcement, acknowledged the loss, said they died with honor serving the Kriegsmarine, said we'll honor their memory by completing our mission and making it home safely. Professional, appropriate, hollow. What else can he say? That we're all probably going to die just like they did, that this war is a meat grinder and we're the meat, that every patrol is Russian roulette with progressively worse odds. He can't say that. So he says what commanders say. Empty words wrapped in honor and duty and sacrifice. The men nodded and went back to their stations, but I saw their faces, they're doing the math. 48 men dead, 70% casualty rate overall. How long until our number comes up? How long until we're the ones at the bottom of the ocean? Not long. Statistics don't lie. We're 9 days from Saint-Nazaire now. 9 days if the boat holds together. If we don't encounter any patrols, if nothing else breaks, the chief engineer is working miracles, keeping us afloat. The leaks are worse, the pumps are running constantly. The single functioning diesel is burning oil at an alarming rate. We might not have enough fuel to make it all the way. We might have to call for a rescue tow. Humiliating, but better than sinking. The weather is turning bad, storm front moving in from the west, rough seas, the boat is pitching and rolling, everything that isn't secured is sliding around. Men are vomiting, the smell is atrocious. I'm on the bridge right now, writing this during my watch. The wind is howling, spray is coming over the conning tower. I'm soaked, cold, miserable, but it's better than being below. The air down there is toxic. Too many men breathing the same air for too long. The carbon dioxide scrubbers are barely keeping up. Everyone has headaches. Some men are passing out. We need to surface more often, but we can't. Too dangerous. Allied air patrols, surface ships. We can only surface at night. And even then, only briefly. So we suffer and wait and pray the boat doesn't fail. I've been thinking about what Schneider said about life after the war, about whether we can ever be normal again. I don't think we can. I don't think you can experience what we've experienced and go back to being a normal person. The fear and the guilt and the trauma change you permanently, fundamentally. I'm not the same person who left Saint-Nazaire 5 weeks ago. That Klaus was still capable of hope, still believed in duty and honor, still thought there was nobility in what we were doing. This Klaus knows better. This Klaus has watched men burn and has caused men to burn. This Klaus has been depth charged within meters of death and knows exactly how fragile life is. This Klaus understands that war isn't noble or glorious. It's just murder with flags and uniforms and pretty words to justify it. Can that Klaus go home and be a husband, a father, a normal member of society? I don't know. I want to believe I can, but I don't know. Margarete deserves better than what I'm becoming. She deserves someone whole, someone undamaged, someone who can smile and laugh and plan for the future without the weight of 205 dead men crushing him. But I love her, and I'm selfish, so I'm going to go home and marry her anyway. I'm going to hold her and pretend I'm fine. I'm going to build a life with her and hope that somehow, eventually, the nightmares will stop and the guilt will fade, and I'll remember what it feels like to be happy. Hope. There it is again. Despite everything, I still have hope. Maybe that's what it means to be human. To keep hoping even when hope seems impossible. To keep fighting even when the fight seems pointless. To keep loving even when love hurts. Or maybe I'm just too stubborn to give up. The storm is getting worse. Waves are crashing over the bow. The boat is taking a beating. But she's holding together this tough old boat that's carried us through 4 patrols, through convoy battles and depth charges and mechanical failures. She's still fighting, still trying to get us home. We owe her that much, to keep fighting, to not give up. 9 more days, we can do 9 more days, we have to. September 4th, 1942, 1400 hours, Bay of Biscay, Grid Square, BE 79, we're almost home. 7 days since my last entry, 7 days of steady progress, careful navigation, constant vigilance. 7 days of nothing going catastrophically wrong. We're in the Bay of Biscay now. Dangerous waters, British air patrols are heavy here. Sunderlands and Wellingtons flying out of Cornwall. They hunt for U-boats transiting to and from the French bases. Catch us on the surface and we're dead, so we're running submerged during the day, only surfacing at night to recharge batteries and make headway on the diesel. It's slow, agonizingly slow, but safe. Safer, anyway. We received new orders from BDU yesterday. U-552 is to abort patrol due to damage and proceed directly to Saint-Nazaire. No further combat operations. Get home, get repaired. Stand down for crew rest. Top gathered the officers to tell us. Then he made an announcement to the crew. Gentlemen, he said over the intercom, we're going home. The patrol is over. We accomplished our mission. 2 ships sunk, 14,000 tons, valuable supplies, prevented from reaching England. Well done, all of you. He all paused. I could hear him breathing. We took damage. We lost friends, but we survived. We're bringing this boat home. Be proud of that. Many boats don't come back. We are. The crew cheered, quietly, because we were submerged and maintaining silence, but they cheered. You could see the relief on their faces, the tension draining away. We're going home. We made it. We survived. 47 days at sea. 47 days of fear and discomfort and danger. But we survived. I should feel that relief too. I should be celebrating like the others. But all I feel is empty, hollowed out. The weight of what we did, what I did, pressing down until there's nothing left inside except guilt. 2 ships, 14,000 tons, 205 men dead. That's what accomplishing our mission means. That's what valuable supplies translates to in human terms. Lives, families destroyed, children without fathers. And Top is right. We should be proud by the standards of this war, by the metrics that matter to BDU and Admiral Dönitz. We had a successful patrol, we hurt the enemy, we contributed to the war effort. But I can't feel proud, I just feel sick. The crew is in better spirits. Even Werner Becker is improving. He's talking again, smiling occasionally. The knowledge that we're going home is powerful medicine. It gives you something to hold on to, a reason to keep functioning, an endpoint to the suffering. Schneider and I played chess last night, a real game this time. Both of us focused, trying to win. He beat me fairly. He's gotten better. Or maybe I've gotten worse. Hard to tell. Afterward, we talked about plans, what we'll do when we get back to Saint-Nazaire, what we'll do during the refit period. I'm going to sleep for 3 days straight, Schneider said. In a real bed, with clean sheets, not moving, not rocking, just still and quiet and comfortable. I'm going to take a bath, I said, a real bath, hot water, soap, Stay in there for hours until my skin wrinkles. I'm going to eat fresh food, vegetables, fruit, bread that isn't moldy, meat that doesn't taste like diesel. I'm going to see Margaret, I said quietly. Schneider looked at me. Your fiancée, in Bremen. Yes. Are you going to marry her? During the leave? I think so. I don't want to wait anymore. Spring 1943 feels too far away. Too uncertain. I want to marry her now. While I can. He nodded slowly. That makes sense. Don't wait. None of us know how much time we have. Will you come to the wedding? He smiled. Of course. Someone needs to make sure you don't pass out at the altar. Fair point. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Schneider said, Top is leaving the boat. Did you know? I looked at him sharply. What? He's being promoted, transferred to a staff position at BDU. This is his last patrol as commander of 552. My chest tightened. How do you know? He told me, asked me not to spread it around yet, but I thought you should, know. Top leaving, our commander, the man who'd brought us home 3 times, who'd kept us alive through impossible situations, leaving, being replaced by someone new, someone unknown, someone who might not have his skill or his luck. Who's replacing him? I asked. Oberleutnant Klaus Popp, don't know much about him, experienced apparently, 2 patrols, good record. 2 patrols, Top had done 10, 2 patrols meant still learning, still making mistakes, still figuring out how to keep a crew alive. Are you staying on the boat? I asked. Schneider shrugged. Probably, unless I request a transfer. But where would I go? All U-boats are the same danger, same odds. Might as well stay with the boat I know. He was right. But it wouldn't be the same without Top. The man was a legend. Working under him felt safe somehow, despite the danger. Like his experience and skill were shields protecting us. Now we'd have a new commander, and the learning curve on U-boats is steep. Most commanders don't survive their first 3 patrols. We might not survive the next patrol, but I can't think about that now. One crisis at a time. Right now we need to focus on getting home, on making it to Saint-Nazaire, on surviving the next 3 days. Then I'll worry about the future. The periscope watch just reported smoke on the horizon. Could be a convoy, could be a patrol, could be nothing. We're going silent, going deep, not taking any chances. This close to home, I need to secure this and get to my station. 3 more days. Just 3 more days. September 6, 1942. 2200 hours. Approaching Saint-Nazaire. We can see the coast. Not the actual land yet, but the lights. The faint glow on the horizon, that means France. That means safety. That means home. The entire crew is electrified. Men who've been exhausted and demoralized for weeks are suddenly animated, talking, laughing, planning what they'll do first when they get ashore. We'll arrive tomorrow morning, enter the harbor with the tide. The flotilla will be waiting, band playing, officers saluting. The standard welcome for returning boats, or part of me dreads it. The ceremony, the congratulations, the speeches about our successful patrol, pretending to be proud of what we did, but part of me is grateful because it means we made it, we survived against the odds, against the ocean, against the enemy, we survived. Top has been making rounds of the boat, talking to the crew, checking on everyone, preparing for the arrival. He stopped by my station earlier. Hartmann, a word. We moved to a quiet corner. He looked at me seriously. This was a hard patrol, he said. Yes, Kalle. You performed well, maintained discipline, kept the crew focused. I'm writing you a commendation for your actions during the depth charge attack. Thank you, sir. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I'm leaving the boat, being transferred. This is my last patrol as commander of 552. Even though Schneider had told me, hearing it from Top directly hit differently. Final, real. I'm sorry to lose you, sir. And I'm sorry to leave. This crew, this boat, they've been in my life for 2 years. But orders are orders. I'm needed at BDU, planning, strategy, using my experience to help other boats, other crews. He paused, looked at me carefully. Hartmann, I'm going to tell you something I probably shouldn't, something you can't repeat. I understand. This war isn't going the way Berlin says it is. The Eastern Front is a disaster. North Africa is a disaster. The Atlantic battle is turning against us. The British have broken some of our codes. They're getting better escorts, better aircraft, better technology. Our losses are climbing. He took a breath. The U-boat arm had the best chance of winning this war. Cut off Britain's supplies, starve them into surrender. We almost did it. In 41 and early 42, we almost succeeded. But now? Now the tide is turning. The Americans are building ships faster than we can sink them. The British are finding us more easily. Our casualty rate is climbing. 70% now. Soon it'll be higher. I felt cold. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to understand. You're a good officer, Hartmann. Smart, capable. You care about your men. You question things. That's rare and valuable. Questioning orders can get you shot. Questioning stupid orders saves lives. He put his hand on my shoulder. The new commander, Pop, he's competent, but he's not me. He hasn't done 10 patrols. He's still learning. He'll make mistakes. What are you saying? I'm saying, watch out for your men. Use your judgment. If you think an order is going to get everyone killed, find a way to voice that concern. Diplomatically, carefully, but voice it. That's close to insubordination. That's survival. He looked me in the eye. I've kept this crew alive through 10 patrols. You help keep them alive through the next ones. Trust your instincts. Protect your men. Follow your conscience. Follow your conscience. In the middle of a war, in the middle of an authoritarian regime that murders dissenters. But I understood what he was saying. Do your duty, but don't lose your humanity. Don't become a mindless cog in the machine. Remember that you're responsible for lives, not just missions. I'll try, Kaleu. That's all I ask. He stepped back, though. Now, let's get this boat home. I want to end my command of 552 with all hands alive and accounted for. Yes, sir. He moved on to check other stations, leaving me standing there processing what he'd said. The war is turning against us. The casualty rate is climbing. The new commander is inexperienced. The next patrol will be more dangerous than this one. I'm going to die on a U-boat. Maybe not the next patrol. Maybe not the one after that, but eventually. The math doesn't lie. 70% casualties. Eventually your number comes up unless I request a transfer, surface ship, shore duty, staff position, get off the U-boats before they kill me. But that feels like cowardice, like abandoning my crew, these men who depend on me, who trust me, who need experienced officers to help keep them alive. How can I leave them? But how can I stay knowing I'll probably die? I don't have an answer. I'll think about it during the leave, talk to Margaret, see what she thinks, see if she'd rather have me alive doing safe work or dead with a medal. I know what she'll say, but I need to hear it anyway. The coast lights are getting brighter. We're close now. So close. Tomorrow we'll dock. Tomorrow we'll step onto dry land. Tomorrow we'll breathe air that doesn't smell like diesel. Tomorrow we'll eat real food and sleep in real beds. And feel safe for a few weeks at least, until the boat is repaired, until the crew is rested, until BDU sends us out again. But I'm not thinking about that now. Right now I'm just thinking about arriving, about surviving, about keeping the promise I made to myself 5 weeks ago when we left. I'm going home to Margaret. I'm going to marry her. I'm going to have those few weeks of normalcy and happiness and love. And I'm going to treasure every second because I know now After this patrol, how fragile it all is, how quickly it can be taken away, how death is always waiting just beneath the surface, but not tonight. Tonight we're alive. Tonight we're going home. Tomorrow we'll dock. Tomorrow I'll see the sun. Tomorrow I'll start living again. Just for a little while. September 10th, 1942, 1500 hours. Saint-Nazaire, France. We've been in port for 4 days. 4 days of debriefing and paperwork and medical examinations. 4 days of sleeping in real beds and eating real food and slowly remembering what it feels like to be human. The flotilla greeting was exactly as I expected. Band playing, officers lined up, Nazi flags everywhere. The flotilla commander gave a speech about heroes and sacrifice and serving the fatherland. We stood there, exhausted and filthy, trying to smile and look proud, trying to be the heroes they wanted us to be. Then finally they let us go. Showers, food, sleep, beautiful, wonderful sleep in a bed that doesn't move or smell like diesel. I slept for 16 hours straight, woke up disoriented, didn't know where I was, thought I was still on the boat, panicked for a moment before I remembered. Saint-Nazaire, safe, home. The medical exam revealed what I already knew. I'd lost 12 kilograms, I'm malnourished, anemic, vitamin deficient. The doctor prescribed supplements and ordered me to eat better. Easy to say, harder to do. My stomach has shrunk. I can only eat small amounts before I feel sick. And rich food makes me nauseous. My body has adjusted to the canned rations and bad water. It needs time to readjust to normal food. The psychological screening was perfunctory. How are you feeling? Any nightmares? Any problems? Schwarz? The doctor, checking boxes on a form, not really listening. Fine, sir. No problems. Good. Excellent. You're cleared for duty. That's how they handle it. Ignore the trauma. Pretend we're all fine. Send us back out as soon as the boat is repaired. Werner Becker failed his screening. The doctor took one look at him, shaking hands, hollow eyes, inability to focus, and declared him unfit for service. He's being transferred to shore duty, administrative work somewhere safe. Becker cried when they told him, not from disappointment, from relief. He gets to live. He gets off the U-boats. He survived. I envy him. The mail from home was waiting. 3 letters from Margarete, 2 from my sister Anna, 1 from my father. Margaret's letters are full of love and longing and worry. She asks if I'm safe, when I'll be home, if we can still plan the wedding for spring. She describes her days, working at her father's bank, helping with the war effort, rationing and shortages and air raid drills. Bremen has been bombed, not heavily yet, not like Hamburg or Berlin, but the RAF is coming more frequently. She doesn't say she's afraid, but I can read it between the lines. Anna's letters are more direct. She's treating wounded soldiers every day now. Burns, amputations, frostbite, shell shock. Boys my age and younger, broken by the Eastern Front. She's seen things no 19-year-old should see. She asks about me, asks if I'm okay, says she worries. I'll write back and lie, tell her I'm fine, that the U-boat service is professional and safe, that I'm in no danger. The same comfortable lies I tell Margarete. My father's letter is brief. He writes about the weather and the garden and neutral things, but at the end he adds, the Baltic is rough this time of year. Storms come fast. A wise sailor knows when to seek harbor and when to ride them out. Trust your judgment, Klaus. Not every storm can be weathered. Coded. Careful. He's telling me to be smart. To survive. To not take unnecessary risks. He knows. He was a sailor. He understands what we face. And he's afraid for me. I've been given 2 weeks leave. 2 weeks to rest and recover before reporting back for the refit and training period. I'm taking the train to Bremen tomorrow to see Margarete, to propose properly with my mother's ring, to plan our wedding. I'm not waiting until spring. I'm going to marry her as soon as possible, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe sooner, before I have to go back to sea, because Top was right. We don't know how much time we have. The next patrol could be my last. The casualties are mounting. The odds are getting worse. So I'm going to grab whatever happiness I can while I can, before the ocean takes it away. The flotilla is throwing a party tonight, officers' club, beer and schnapps, music, celebration for the returning boats. Several boats came in this week, ours and 3 others. I should go, show my face, maintain camaraderie, be social, but I don't want to. I don't want to drink and laugh and pretend everything is fine. I don't want to hear the other officers bragging about their kills and their tonnage and their successes. I don't want to be reminded of what we are, what we do, but I'll go anyway because it's expected, because refusing would raise questions, because I need to maintain the facade of the good German officer who's proud of his service. The facade is getting harder to maintain. The gap between what I show publicly and what I feel privately is widening. Eventually it will crack. Eventually someone will see through it. But not yet. I can hold it together a little longer. Through the party, through the leave, through the next patrol, 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time, just survive, just keep going, that's all I can do. September 11th, 1942, 0800 hours, train to Bremen, I'm on the train, heading to Bremen, to Margarethe. The French countryside rolls past the window, green fields, small villages, normal life continuing despite the war. Farmers working, children playing, people living. It's jarring, surreal. 6 days ago, I was in a damaged U-boat, fighting for survival. Now I'm on a train watching peaceful rural life pass by. The disconnect is massive. That world and this world don't connect. They exist in parallel but never touch. The civilians have no idea what happens in the Atlantic, what we do, what it costs. And that's probably for the best. The train is full of soldiers, Wehrmacht going on leave or returning from the Eastern Front. Some of them look worse than I do, hollow-eyed, shaking, haunted. The Eastern Front is grinding men into nothing. The casualties are staggering. The conditions are inhuman. I thought the U-boat service was bad, but at least we're not in frozen trenches fighting house-to-house battles against an enemy that outnumbers us 10-1. At least there's that. A soldier across from me keeps staring. Finally he says, U-boat? My uniform gives it away. The eagle and swastika, the U-boat badge on my chest. Yes, respect, he says. I wouldn't do it. Couldn't. Too claustrophobic, too dangerous. The trenches look dangerous too. He laughs. A bitter sound. Everything is dangerous. The whole war is a death trap. We just get to choose which way we die. Accurate. Depressing. True. We don't talk after that. Just sit in silence. 2 soldiers heading on leave. Both carrying too much weight. Both trying not to think about having to go back. I'm carrying my mother's ring. In my pocket I keep touching it, making sure it's still there. The ring is old, simple gold band with a small diamond. My father bought it in 1912, before the First War, when he and my mother were young and everything still seemed possible. 30 years later, I'm carrying it to give to another young woman, before another war has a chance to destroy more lives. History repeating, cyclical violence, the same patterns playing out generation after generation. Will it always be this way? Will there always be wars? Will young men always die for old men's ambitions? I don't know. I hope not. But I'm not optimistic. The train is passing through a bombed town. I can see the damage from the window. Collapsed buildings, burned out husks, rubble in the streets, Allied bombers, probably American. The RAF focuses on night raids on cities. The Americans do daytime precision bombing on industrial targets, except it's never precise. The bombs miss, hit residential areas, kill civilians, children, just like our torpedoes kill merchant seamen, just like the Allied depth charges kill U-boat crews, just like everything in this war kills someone who probably didn't want to be in it. I need to stop thinking about this. I need to focus on something positive, something good. Margaret. Think about Margarete, her smile, the way her eyes light up when she laughs, the way she holds my hand, gentle but firm, the way she looks at me like I'm someone worth loving. I don't deserve her. Not after what I've done, not with the blood on my hands, but I'm going to marry her anyway. Because I love her. Because she's the only good thing left in my life. Because I need something beautiful to hold on to, or I'll drown in guilt and despair. Selfish, but I can't help it. The train is slowing down. Another stop. More soldiers getting on. More weary, damaged men in uniform heading somewhere. Anywhere. Just away from the front for a little while. A young lieutenant sits next to me. Fresh from officer school, I'd guess. New uniform. Eager expression. Still optimistic. Give him 6 months. He'll look like the rest of us. Heading home? He asked cheerfully. To see my fiancée. Ah, congratulations. When's the wedding? Soon. Very soon. Wonderful. I'm engaged too. Planning a spring wedding. April probably. After the war is won. After the war is won. He actually believes that. Believes we're winning. Believes this will be over soon. Believes he'll survive to have that spring wedding. Youth. Innocence. Ignorance. I envy him. I remember being that optimistic, believing in victory and honor and glorious futures. That was a lifetime ago. A different person, a different Klaus who didn't know better. I hope you get your spring wedding, I tell him. Thank you, and you'll have yours soon. Lucky man not waiting. Yes, lucky. We lapse into silence. He reads a newspaper. I stare out the window. Lucky. That's what people keep saying. You're lucky. Lucky to be alive. Lucky to have survived. Lucky to be going home. But I don't feel lucky. I feel cursed. Cursed to carry the memories. Cursed to keep living when so many others died. Cursed to pretend everything is fine when nothing is fine. Survivor's guilt, that's what it's called. The doctor at the screening mentioned it briefly. Said it's normal. Said it'll fade with time. I don't think it will. I don't think you forget 205 dead men. I don't think the screams of burning sailors fade from your memory. I don't think you just get over watching your friend's boat get sunk with all hands. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe time does heal. Maybe years from now, if I survive, this will all feel distant. A bad dream. Something that happened to someone else. I hope so, but I doubt it. The train is approaching Bremen. I can see the city in the distance. Church spires, factory smoke. Home. Margarete will be waiting at the station. She doesn't know I'm coming. I couldn't send word ahead. I wanted to surprise her. I'm nervous, excited, terrified. What if she sees the change in me? What if she realizes I'm not the same person she fell in love with? What if she can see the blood on my hands? But no, she'll see what I show her. The smiling officer, the confident fiancé, the man who's fine, who's coping, who's normal, the mask. I'll wear the mask. And maybe, if I wear it long enough, I'll believe it myself. Maybe. September 12th, 1942, 1600 hours, Hotel Columbus, Bremen. I found her yesterday afternoon when the train pulled into Bremen station. I scanned the platform looking. I didn't really expect her to be there. She didn't know I was coming, but she was there, standing near the exit, waiting. She saw me through the window before the train stopped. Our eyes met. Her face lit up, that smile, that beautiful smile. The train stopped. I grabbed my bag and pushed through the crowd, off the train, onto the platform, running. We collided. She threw her arms around me. I held her tight, breathing her in, lavender perfume, clean hair, warmth, life. She was crying. I was crying. Right there on the platform, in front of everyone, didn't care, proper German reserve, forgotten. You're here, she kept saying. You're here, you're here. I'm here, I'm home. We stood like that for a long time, just holding each other, not talking, just being together. Finally, we pulled apart enough to look at each other. She touched my face, her fingers gentle, concerned. You're so thin, she said. I'm fine, I just need to eat better. You look exhausted. I've been sleeping poorly. She didn't push, didn't ask for details, just nodded and took my hand. Come on, she said. Let's get you somewhere comfortable. We walked through Bremen, hand in hand, like a normal couple, like the war didn't exist, like I hadn't just spent 5 weeks killing people and nearly dying. The city has changed, more damage than when I left in April. Several buildings bombed, empty lots where houses used to be. People are thinner, harder. The shortages are showing, but Margret's family is doing okay. Her father is a bank manager. Important position. They get decent rations. They haven't been bombed yet. They're coping. We went to her parents' house first. Her mother cried and hugged me. Her father shook my hand and looked relieved, and they were polite, welcoming. But I could see the questions in their eyes, the concern. I look worse than they expected, but they didn't ask, just offered food and coffee and kind words. After a while, Margarete and I left. We went to Hotel Columbus, got a room, proper, separate rooms technically to maintain appearances, but nobody cares anymore. The war has loosened the old rules. When you might die tomorrow, propriety seems less important. We're in the room now. Margarete is sitting on the bed. I'm writing this at the small desk by the window. We haven't talked about the patrol yet. She asked once, carefully, was it bad? It was fine, I lied. Standard patrol, nothing unusual. She looked at me. She knew I was lying, but she didn't push. You don't have to tell me, she said. But if you want to, I'm here. I'll listen. Thank you. But I'd rather think about the future, about us. Okay. That's when I took out the ring, my mother's ring, got down on one knee beside the bed, took her hand. Margrethe, I love you. I've loved you since we met. I want to marry you. Not in spring. Not someday, now. As soon as possible. Will you marry me? She was crying again, happy tears this time. Yes, yes, of course yes. I slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly, like it was meant for her. We held each other, kissed, made plans. The wedding will be in 1 week. Small ceremony at St. Petri Cathedral. Just family and a few close friends. No big celebration. No party officials. Just us and the people we love. Her mother is handling the arrangements. They can do it quickly. The war has simplified things. No elaborate preparations. No months of planning. Just a license and a priest and witnesses. 1 week. 1 week until I'm married. Until Margarete is my wife. Until I have something permanent. Something that says I existed. That my life meant something beyond the killing and the dying. Even if I don't survive the next patrol, I'll have been married. I'll have had these few weeks of happiness, of love, of normal life. That has to count for something. We spent the evening walking through the old town, holding hands, talking about small things, her work at the bank, my sister's nursing training, the weather, books we'd read, music we'd heard, not the war, not U-boats, not death, just normal conversation between two people in love. It felt like a miracle. For a few hours I almost felt human again, almost felt like the old Klaus, the one who believed in futures and happiness and good things. We had dinner at a small restaurant. The food was simple, rationed, but it tasted like heaven because I was eating it with her. Because she was smiling at me across the table, because for that moment everything was right. Afterwards, we came back to the hotel, talked until midnight, then she kissed me goodnight and went to her room. I'm alone now, writing this, trying to process everything. I'm getting married in 1 week to the woman I love. It feels surreal, like a dream, like something that's happening to someone else. But it's real. The ring on her finger is real. Her yes is real. The wedding next week is real. I'm taking this one good thing, this one beautiful thing in the middle of all the horror and death and darkness. I'm going to marry Margaret. And for however long we have together, I'm going to love her and cherish her and try to be worthy of her. Even though I'm not, even though I'm broken and damaged and guilty, she loves me anyway, somehow. Miraculously, she loves me. That has to be enough. September 14th, 1942, 2100 hours, Bremen. This is my last entry for now. Maybe forever. I don't know. Tomorrow I travel to Hamburg. I made a promise to Heinrich Müller, my friend who died when U-594 was sunk. I promised that if anything happened to him, I'd check on his family, his wife Helga, his daughter Greta. I have to keep that promise. Margarete understands. She doesn't know the details, just that I lost a friend and I need to visit his widow. She kissed me and told me to do what I needed to do. I'm dreading it. What do you say to a young widow? To a woman who's lost her husband, who has to raise a child alone, who's facing an uncertain future in the middle of a war. The rehearsed words sound hollow in my head. He died with honor, serving the fatherland. You should be proud. Empty. Meaningless lies, but what's the truth? He died screaming as the ocean crushed his boats. He was terrified, it was pointless and horrible, and he'll never come back. I can't say that either, so I'll find something in between, something that acknowledges the loss without dwelling on the horror, something that gives her comfort without insulting her intelligence. I'll figure it out when I'm there. After Hamburg, I'm coming back to Bremen, to Margarete, to our wedding. 1 week, 6 days now, 6 days until I marry the most amazing woman I've ever met. We spent today making final arrangements, talking to the priest, picking flowers, simple white roses, Margaret's favorite, choosing music, Bach, Brandenburg Concerto No. 3, something beautiful and timeless. Her mother is making her dress, white, simple, elegant. Her sister will be maid of honor. My father is taking the train from Kiel. Anna is trying to get leave from the hospital to attend. Even the chief engineer, Lieutenant Weiss, is coming. He and a few other officers from the boats. Small, intimate, perfect. This afternoon, Margarete and I walked along the Weser River. The sun was setting, golden light on the water. Beautiful. We sat on a bench and watched the boats passing. Merchant vessels mostly, some barges. Working boats, not warships. What are you thinking? She asked. I was thinking about the Atlantic, about the convoy, about the ships we sank, about the men who died. But I said, I'm thinking about how lucky I am to have found you, to be here with you, to be alive. I'm the lucky one, she said. You came back, so many don't. I know. We were quiet for a while, then she said, Klaus, I know you're not telling me everything. I know the patrols are worse than you say. I can see it in your eyes, the fear, the exhaustion. I started to protest, but she put her finger on my lips. It's okay. You don't have to tell me. I just want you to know that I see it. And I love you anyway. Whatever you've done, whatever you've seen, whatever you're carrying, it doesn't change how I feel about you. I couldn't speak. My throat was too tight. Tears were burning my eyes. I love you, I finally managed. I love you so much. I know. And that's enough. That's all that matters. We sat there, until the sun set completely, until the darkness came, until the river disappeared into shadow. Then we went back to the hotel, back to our separate rooms, back to propriety and waiting. 6 more days. 6 more days of being engaged, then we'll be married, then she'll be my wife, then I'll have something permanent, something the war can't take away even if it takes me. I'm closing this diary now, putting it away. I'll take it back to the boat when I return, but I'm not writing in it during the leave. I'm not thinking about U-boats or patrols or death. I'm just going to be Klaus, Margaret's fiancé, soon to be her husband, a normal man living a normal life for a few precious days. When I return to Saint-Nazaire, when the refit is complete, when we prepare for the next patrol, I'll open this again, I'll write again, but not now. Now I'm choosing life, choosing love, choosing hope, even if it's temporary, even if it's fragile, even if the ocean is waiting to take it all away. For now, right now, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to marry Margarete. I'm going to have our wedding day. I'm going to hold her and dance with her and promise to love her forever. And I'm going to mean it, every word. Because she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And if I die on the next patrol, at least I'll die having known what real love feels like. At least I'll die having had something beautiful, something worth fighting for, something worth surviving for. That has to be enough. The future is uncertain, the war continues, the ocean waits, death is patient, but tonight I'm with Margaret. Tonight I'm safe, tonight I have hope, and that's more than many people have. I'm grateful, despite everything. Despite the guilt and the fear and the trauma, I'm grateful. For this woman, for this love, for this moment of peace in the middle of chaos. Tomorrow I'll visit Heinrich's widow. I'll pay my respects, I'll keep my promise. Then I'll come back to Bremen, to Margaret, to our wedding, to life, to hope, to whatever time we have left together. May it be enough, may it be long. May we both survive this war and build the life we dream of, but if we don't, at least we'll have tried, at least we'll have loved, at least we'll have chosen each other. In the end, maybe that's all anyone can do. Choose love, choose hope, choose to keep living, even when everything tells you to give up. I choose Margaret, I choose us, I choose life. Whatever comes next, I can face it, because I won't be alone, because someone loves me, because I have something worth fighting for. The ocean waits, but tonight it can wait alone. Tonight I am simply Klaus, and I am loved. That's everything. That's enough. End of diary. Klaus Hartmann married Margarete Schiller on September 21st, 1942, at St. Petri Cathedral in Bremen. After 2 weeks of leave, he returned to U-552 for continued service under the new commander, Oberleutnant Klaus Popp. U-552 survived the war, one of the few Type 7 CU boats to do so. The boat completed 19 patrols total, sinking 14 more ships before surrendering at Wilhelmshaven in May 1945. Klaus Hartmann survived the war. He left the Kriegsmarine in May 1945, returned to Bremen, and completed his engineering degree. He and Margaret had 3 children and remained married for 61 years until her death in 2003. He never spoke publicly about his U-boat service.